Well, I think Dean's done a brilliant job with this Charlotte group. They're very well organised. I'm expecting a very, very challenging game. They've proven already on their home field that they're a tough task, and that turf field is never easy to play on. So lots of challenges, but we're in a very positive mindset, and we're going there with a big week in front of us.
Great. We'll start in the room. Ben?
Yeah, when you look back at the Montreal win, it felt like you guys were able to get out and transition a lot more, but also to be a lot more effective in transition. Kevin, when you look forward and maybe how you can replicate that, is it as simple as just, hey, we need to play in transition more, or are there ways that you can kind of try to get your opponent to open up that space and allow you to play it that way?
Well, I do think both apply, Ben. I think there are some things that we can do to try and replicate that. There have been areas on the field that we've taken some really nice advantage of, and certainly we need to reinforce that. However, I also think the way that the opponent plays and certain individuals within those teams make a big difference. And this Charlotte group predominantly play out of a back four, which is obviously different to the more visual matchups that we saw at the weekend against Montreal. I would expect, certainly in the opening exchanges, if not slightly longer, that the game's going to be ultra competitive. They do a very good job of condensing the field, of winning an awful lot of ball in those central midfield areas, and turning those possessional moments and regains into effective attacks. I think they build a lot of their work on momentum. They want to get up the field and get that back line high and make life difficult. And they've done it very, very well at home. So we've got some challenges in front of us. But if there's ever been a positive week and a more productive week in front of us, I'm not sure there's one better than this.
Claudio?
Gary, when you look at, just to bring him into the conversation, Dru Yearwood, and the kind of game he had, the last two perhaps, but mainly the last one, is that a position that did you finally find for him? You look at the beginning, you were trying to set him up in different ways in the attacking third, but now it seems like he feels very well there. Is that what you actually saw him playing at the beginning?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Drew's a very well-rounded and well-balanced player. Technically, very capable. He's got a turn of pace, so he can break beyond opposing midfield players and actually commit defenders. He's also got a really nice range of passing, and his vision's very, very good. We saw that, I think, for the second or third goal, where he worked it in behind the back line, pinpoint delivery into Hanny's path. So he's very, very capable, but his background is, of course, as a central midfield player. You know, there's a little bit of adaptation here to this shape and this group, but I think he's settled in very, very nicely. There's always a little bit of an acclimation period coming into any new team, but I think we're seeing in Dru a really good personality. You can see him starting to express himself on the field, and my hope is he can continue to reinforce that form. I mentioned it after the game at the weekend. The next step for Dru, and obviously the group, as we hopefully take some more steps forward, is to get him into more aggressive areas and get him on the end of some of that more progressive play.
We'll go to the Zoom. Valera?
Hey, Gary. With the newer formation, I guess, that you're playing, or newer system that you're playing, I just have a couple questions about a couple personnel. First is with Tyler Boyd. He's obviously coming into the side. He's still kind of getting back into fitness. Do you see him and Dru Yearwood playing at the same time, or is it pretty much one or the other? And then the other questions about Dan Lovitz, and where do you see him fit in this system?
Yeah, in answer to the first part of the question, I absolutely see Tyler and Dru on the field at the same time. I think it's a case of getting Tyler up to speed. Wonderful to see him on the field for what was, I think, 30 minutes at a weekend, 32 minutes, including injury time. But he's working himself back into that starting spot, and I think this week has been a very productive one. You know, still some decisions to be made, but Tyler's putting himself closer and closer to that starting group. I see both of those guys adding a more dynamic and aggressive look to that midfield. As far as Dan's concerned, I mean, look, he's been a foundational piece of this group since I've been here. So for 4 years, he's patrolled that back line. He's been part of a very, very good and almost elite back unit. Dan's got flexibility. He's played at outside centre-back in a three-man group. He's also very capable of playing as a left wing-back. I would add in a different way to Jacob, of course, but there's no reason why that cannot be utilised. If I add into that, this is the first time in a little while again that we've had 3 games in a week. So therefore, with a limited group, and the fact that we've still got, the likes of Shaq, who's working his way into the group. He played 15 minutes in a behind closed door game here in the week, so he's in a much better place. We've still got to see Walker work through into that 90-minute world, and of course Tyler, who we've already mentioned. So there's some moving parts here this week, and I've already said to the group, it's a big week for us. We want to try and re-emphasise and double down on the result at the weekend, which will not be easy away at Charlotte, but also with 2 home games coming quickly behind that. It's a big opportunity for us to add points to the board here.
We'll go to Jacob on the Zoom.
Sorry about that. Gary, Saturday you praised Anibal Godoy's performance in central midfield, and you've had a lot of injuries. It seemed that he's remained mostly healthy throughout the season. From what it seems like he's played 90 minutes in 3 of the last 4 games he's played. I guess with a player of his age, at 34, I guess how have you managed his fitness this season? How do you continue to manage his fitness and playing time going forward? Just making sure he's there.
Yeah, good question. Look, Annabelle's a very influential piece, especially given the adaptation that the group's taken on. His ability on the ball, his management of the game, choices of when to speed the game up, slow it down with his experience. I think he's actually playing a unique spot. So his training, his day-to-day work has been modified a little bit just to take the sting out of it. I don't think Annabelle's needing lots of work from Monday to Friday. He is playing a lot of football and a lot of minutes match play. This week is going to be the biggest challenge for him and for the group. Certainly I've got a lot of decisions to make game on game. Yes, some mindset, some thoughts about what comes beyond Charlotte, but I think given the way that the season has unfolded so far, you'll understand that I'm looking at each game as it comes along, and we need to put a group out at the weekend that are going to get a very good job done, and certainly, be keeping that momentum going for us.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Gary, I think it was after the last time you played Charlotte, you mentioned Patrick Gajiman and just kind of what a difficult player he is to play against. And then you add in some of their wingers like Vargas and Tavares and Abada. Like, what kind of challenge are you expecting from them, and how do you balance wanting to get, especially those wingbacks, involved in the attack without leaving space to be isolated?
I mean, first of all, Adjaman, as a young player coming out of college, has made a really good impact. You've only got to look at his frame and his athletic ability. That combination alone is always difficult to play against. A really strange, situation. A very good friend of mine who played at Wimbledon was Patrick Adjaman. And if you look back in maybe some of the teams at Wimbledon, QPR, very, very similar individuals. The Patrick back in England was a little bit quicker in his heyday, but lots and lots of similarities, both extremely awkward and difficult to play against, both have the ability to get beyond, to run at defenders, and also be good connectors or get on the end of crosses. At that size, he's also a big threat in the penalty area, of course. So, really good pickup for them, Charlotte, out of the draft. As far as their wide players are concerned, I think we ran into Tavares the first time, last time out, come through their system. Again, a unique individual in the fact that he's 6'2" or 3", playing out wide, uses that frame ever so well. But, a couple of other bodies that have come into the group and have done a very, very good job. But if you look at the way that Dean plays, those wide areas are very prominent for them. They're either getting into good positions for delivery, they're putting themselves into good positions to get beyond, or just as importantly, they're a big focal point running at defenders and being aggressive. So it's definitely an area we've got to try and neutralise and suffocate, and we'll do that to the best of our ability. And in some ways, sometimes the best angle for that is to get your players on the ball and in difficult spots and ask questions of those attacking players in a more defensive role and get them in a more negative spot. So there'll be a bit of cat and mouse being played between those wide players and defenders, and possession being turned into more creative and positive work. I think both teams will get joy out of the wide areas. The teams that make that the most productive area of the field, I think, will find themselves in the more positive position.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everybody. We're joined now by midfielder Dru Yearwood. Drew, it's your first season with the club. You've started all 10 MLS games so far. How has your time with Nashville been in terms of getting acclimated, and then how's the preparation gone for you and the team this week out of the match with Charlotte?
Since I've been here, I've loved it. I think a main goal for me last year, I didn't play too much and didn't start as many games as I wanted to, and now I've started all 10. So I guess already we're at a win. But yeah, just for me, it's building onto that, and a goal of mine in life was always to enjoy as much as I can, and I feel like I can't enjoy if I'm not playing. So that's the main thing for me coming into this team. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. We haven't got the results that we wanted as I've been here, and that's definitely something that I've had a little pep in my step about, and just having that little edge and that little bite about the team that I've seen recently that maybe kind of got us the result on the weekend, and that needs to stay in the group so we can go again this weekend.
Great. Claudio, you actually asked Coach about Drew, so we'll start with you.
Yeah, Drew, I just asked Gary about the fact that at the beginning he looked like he was kind of testing you in different positions around the field, especially in the final third. And then it looks like you have settled him for him and for you very well right there where you are playing right now, especially in the last couple of games. Is that exactly how you felt through the whole process?
Yeah. I don't know if he was testing me, but yeah, definitely, I'm happy that this is kind of my role. I knew that before coming here. It was just how it was going to work, and luckily it has worked out, the way I wanted it to, and I'm guessing the way the gaffer wanted it to as well. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the role. It doesn't feel new for me. It feels pretty natural, which is nice. And yeah, I'm just enjoying my football now.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Drew, obviously you weren't here last year, but I think it was Sam's second goal, your third against Montreal, that was basically identical to his first goal. I'm just curious, is that like an intentional thing that you guys have worked on, or did it just kind of happen that way?
It just kind of happened, I'll be honest. But I did see the video. It was in Leagues Cup, right? And yeah, so I saw the video and I was like, wow, it's pretty similar. But yeah, no, it's not something we worked on, but it's more Hani. Hani just told me, always look for that ball. He's always ready for it, and yeah, just happened that way.
We'll go to the Zoom with Valère.
Hey Drew, obviously the Red Bulls have a very specific way of playing, and you spent a good amount of years there. is there anything similar in the way Nashville plays to the Red Bulls, or is it pretty much everything is different? And if there is something similar, what have you taken from your days at Red Bulls to kind of bring it into Nashville?
I think, I walk in and I see Sean Davis. That's one thing that I was used to. But no, I think the similarities are, I think you've seen us press a little bit as this Nashville team. I know it's not as crazy as the Red Bull one where it's constant for 90 minutes, but it's definitely, something that we've tried to incorporate into our game just to get on top of teams. And, you get on the front foot through a press, especially if it's successful. And that's definitely something that I've noticed here and noticed in Red Bull as well is getting on that front foot. It can be key in a lot of games. And I guess if you start badly and you're weathering the storm, it's tough to get a foot in the game. So yeah, it's definitely something that I've noticed that's a similarity is just getting on that front foot with the press. Even if it's for the first 10, 15 minutes, then after that we can relax and be on the ball, which is nice as well.
We'll go ahead and go to Jacob on the Zoom.
Yeah, Drew. There are actually you multiple former Red Bulls on this team now with Sean Davis and Alex Moyle. Who I don't think you ever got the. I don't know for sure, but I guess what's it like playing with those guys who have experience with that with the Red Bulls. I guess what's been your relationship like with those guys?
Yeah, they're the first two guys that text me when I got here actually. Well, I think Sean called me actually when I was back in England, but I spoke to Lex as soon as I got here as well, and it's been really, really good. They're really helpful guys, really nice guys, and Sean me and Sean played together for a little while. Lex I didn't really know too well, but it was still, we have mutual connections, and it was good. They've been really welcoming and they've helped me out with everything. So, yeah, I can't thank them enough.
Yeah, and Drew, you mentioned that all the time. And it feels like maybe in the past 3 or so games, even against Miami and San Jose, when the results weren't there, you and the rest of the midfield was doing a lot better at letting Hani and Sam stay high and kind of get them the ball closer to goal. Is that something you guys have kind of emphasized and worked on? And kind of what do you think has led to the past couple games being more effective that way?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think we've had to tell them anything. I just think we've noticed that, they have real quality going forward. And I guess we've always got a chance in a game with them two up top. And I think it's more how quick can we get them the ball and how quick can we control a game and then get them into the game. I think that's been the main thing for us, and I think it's worked well. I think we've done pretty well. Scored a lot of goals this year. I know we've conceded a lot, but that's a whole different conversation. I think going forward, it's been good. We're creating a lot of chances. I know there's still key things that we want to change, and there's obviously loads of connections that we still want to create, but for the whole, it's been okay. And I wouldn't bat an eye and say it's been bad, but it's been okay. I think in the ideal world, you'd want to score loads of goals and concede none, and that's just not how the sport works.
Joe, I mean, it's obvious that the team got its best performance this past game, but not because of lack of effort, for sure. What of this game can translate, and dynamics of the team collectively to the game in Charlotte to make it happen?
Yeah, I think this weekend, for sure, it was just sick of this bad run of form. Just can't get results. Pretty sick of it. And, there was that little bit of an edge about the team, especially when we went out there. It was just, we're going to win this game, and there was only one team out there. That's how I felt, and I guess that's kind of how the performance played out. So yeah, I just think that edge is still about us as a team, and we need to go out there now and do the same on Saturday. That edge has got to be there. because our season's not done just because we won on Saturday. It's now we've got to build on this momentum and keep going.